Hi everyone. In this video, we're going to discuss what we term as search criteria. So in the world of research, search criteria is essentially how we find research. I like to think of it a little bit more simply as the words that we use, the words that we type into a search engine to actually pull up search results, okay? So when we're talking about finding articles or websites or videos to use for research, these are the words we're going to use to find that information. This all has to deal with how search engines work. So mostly we're thinking about and talking about Google here. So I've got two examples for you. Example number 1 says, how do you fix a broken zipper? ? And example 2 states, zipper repair. Now, the one that's going to get us more accurate search results here, the one that's going to be a little bit better, is the second example, zipper repair. And it all comes down to the way that Google works. So Google uses these algorithms to try to get you exactly what you're looking for in a search result. So in example number 1, Google is scanning the internet for every single article, website, and video that has the word how in it. It's looking for every single article and website and video that says, how do you in it. And that has nothing to do with what you're trying to figure out. What you want to figure out is this broken zipper part. How do you fix the broken zipper? So I would be okay even with altering this first example to say, fix broken zipper. Because at least there, we're a little bit more focused in on the things that we actually want to get out of Google. With the second example, zipper repair, there are no extra words in here. There's nothing in here that's going to throw off Google in giving us what we want. So there are a couple of tips that I have for you when looking for search criteria. One, we don't want to ask a question. Because in asking a question, you're going to have all of these excess words that we don't really need. So that's the second one, is we don't want any extra words. Or we can think of them as unnecessary. We want the most specific words. We don't want the words like do or the or anything like that. We also want to use what we're going to call technical language. Technical language would be the words specific to whatever area you're researching. So for me as a teacher, if I'm doing research on education, I want to think about some of the words that we use in education. One of them is pedagogy, which probably you've never heard before because you're not a teacher, but that's a word in the teaching profession that we use. Think about it like with car mechanics. They might use a word like carburetor, whereas I, as a non-car mechanic, might say, oh, you know that thingamajig. So we want to think about the very specific words used within the field of whatever it is we are researching. So we want to try to figure out that technical language. That might mean that you have to do some research in advance to figure out what the technical language is within the topic area that you are researching. That can be very important for us. Another little tip for you is if you put quotation marks around a word, what that does is it ensures that everything Google gives back to you, every article, video, whatever, has to have that specific word in it. It won't give you back any search criteria that does not have that word in it. So maybe we come up here and we put quotation marks around the word zipper because we want to make sure that we're getting a zipper repair. Okay? So let's take a look at some good examples and some bad examples of search criteria. And these are linked together so we can see one versus the other. So for the bad search criteria, we have, what is the weather outside like today? So many extra words that we don't really need in here. We want to get rid of those as much as we possibly can. So instead, we're going to turn it into this good search criteria example of weather, Erie, PA. So I'm being very specific about where I'm looking for the weather, and I'm getting rid of all of these extra words that we had up top. The next one we have is, does Target have the poster I need? Versus Target trifold poster. When is the Erie Otters game on Sunday? Versus Erie Otters schedule. This would be an example of, even though it's very simple, we're using the technical language. In hockey, they call it their schedule. So we're saying that as opposed to when is the game. We're looking for the schedule. Then we have, does Applebee's have chicken tenders? We need to think about realistically where we're going to find that information. Is there going to be a whole article or website dedicated to Applebee's and chicken tenders? Probably not. But we can research Applebee's menu, and that's going to give us the information that we want. So we don't always search the specific question we have. Instead, we're looking for whatever resource we could use to answer that question on our own. Okay, so with this information now, you are going to head off to try conducting some search criteria of your own. Good luck.